It's been a crazy week at Omega. A lot of people in town, out of town, a lot of things going on, and I've been getting a lot of questions about where are we at on this car, where are we at on that car. So we're going to answer those questions today with a shop update. Let's get started. So this is the 2009 Nissan 370Z that makes really sweet VQ trumpet sounds. You guys saw this in a previous video that we had tables and tables full of parts. We had stuff all over the place and it looked like open heart surgery. But now it's all back together. Danielson has it reassembled, and this is the leftover dash that has nasty gummy vinyl that's melting on it. And everything is back together. It's beautiful. Let's take a look. Here we are in the interior, and you can see that the dash is nice and new. No more Exxon Valdez oil slick on top of the dash. It looks like a brand new dash because that's what it is. It's brand new. Let's go ahead and start this thing up. Oh yeah, you can kind of hear those trumpet noises. They want to come out. They really want to come out, but it's not under a load, so it's not going to be so loud. But you can see on the cluster, all of the digits are nice and illuminated. They weren't before, and I'll show you here in a minute what we did to solve that. That was one of the issues they wanted solved while the dash was out, and we had success. It looks like a new cluster now. So everything's back together. It's exactly what the customer wanted, and he's going to be very, very happy. Let's go take a look at the pieces that we used to fix this cluster. So on the cluster on that car, several of the LEDs inside the cluster weren't illuminating. So as you looked at your speedometer or your tachometer, it would be lit up all the way up 3/4 of the way or half the way, and the rest was dark. What it was, here's the circuit board that's inside the cluster, and you can see there's these little LEDs made for illuminating the gauges, and they were dead. So this is a used cluster that was cracked and damaged, but I knew I could salvage parts off of it. I got it off eBay really cheap. I robbed the LEDs and resoldered them to the new cluster. So this is the old tachometer. It had burned LEDs. I just swapped it with this circuit board off the used cluster. Put it back together. Everything works. The miles are correct on the odometer, and also all of the LEDs light up nice and bright now. So the rest of this will probably go in the trash because it was damaged somehow or another. The lenses are all cracked. Things are cracked and broken on it. But I didn't care about that. I just wanted the pieces and parts out of it. I was able to get everything I needed cheaper than sending it off to get rebuilt. I rebuilt it in-house. So that is solved. So you guys just recently saw a video on this car as well. It is the 2004 Jaguar XJR. And we talked about how we were going to remove a lot of the interior components to get the headliner out. And this is another open heart surgery job. It's a proverbial open heart surgery. Obviously it's not real open heart surgery. But Mrs. Wizard's going to pan around in the interior, and the amount of things that had to come apart to get this out is phenomenal. We do have the battery disconnected. The doors stay open because a lot of the parts and pieces are gone and missing, and if you close the door you could crush or break something. We're not going to break this customer's car because it is very nice, so the doors stay open. Again, the battery is disconnected. Let's take a look, guys. So here we are inside the XJR, and you can see a few things hanging. There's some wiring harnesses dangling. There's lots of panels and pieces missing out of the interior. All of this stuff had to come apart to either be sent off to Lowen Upholstery or to gain access to the parts to send to Lowen Upholstery. A few people commented, oh, I know a guy in Florida that does these for $600. Will any of you guys in the audience guarantee and ensure the quality of your work on such an extensive job like this for $500, $400? I don't think so. We have the headliner out. We have the sunroof cover out. We have the visors out being reupholstered, also all the pillars. The customer chose to go with the upgraded suede material on the headliner and all the pillars and the sun visors and the sunroof. So he chose the most expensive option. So what we've got going on is a significantly larger bill going on, and the customer's okay with that because they've already made a 50% down payment to let us do the job. All those things are currently at Lowen Upholstery being worked on as we speak. But as you can see, this was not done in 10 minutes, and it's not going to be done for 300 bucks. It's scary, guys. Can you imagine this is your car and you walk in on this? It's like, oh my God, you just destroyed my car, bro. No, we didn't destroy the car. It's just a part being worked on. But it is scary. I admit it. It looks very, very like walking in on a loved one during surgery. So that's where we're at on the XJR. There's several other parts and pieces that we're going to be addressing, like the freeze plugs, or the threaded plugs, I should say, and things in the engine bay. But right now it's a waiting game with getting the upholstery done. On the Nissan Joke, or the Junk, or what is it, Mrs. Wizard?
A Juke.
A Juke, that's right, the Juke. We're still playing the main bearing waiting game. I now have the correct rod bearings. I found them online and they arrived and I measured them and they are exactly correct. I did order another set for main bearings and they arrived and they're wrong as well. Luckily I only spent 30 bucks for them. And there is someone all the way in Melbourne, Australia. His name is Ian and he's coming to the rescue for me. He talked to the Nissan dealership in Melbourne and also another supplier who says they can get the correct bearings, but the Nissan dealership, even in Australia, cannot guarantee beyond a shadow of a doubt that they will be the correct bearings. They say, are they oversized? Are they undersized? And say, well, we typically don't sell oversized or undersized bearings. We would only sell standard bearings. So, well, this guy, being the car wizard, already ordered the correct bearings for this engine, and they arrived oversized, 0.25 millimeter oversized. So we want to be sure that we're getting the right ones, and the dealership says, I can't guarantee that. Halfway across the world, we still can't guarantee a customer's getting the right bearings. That's crazy. But he did find another supplier who says, yes, I can guarantee it'll be correct. They'll be standard size. And we're going to go that route. And thank you, Ian, for hooking me up on that. Once they arrive, then we'll continue on with the Junk, or the Joke, or whatever you want to call it. So we're still playing the parts waiting game and being helped by someone halfway around the world. Thanks again, Ian. This is the 1983 Jeep Wagoneer that you guys have also saw a video on. And you saw the destruction of a very poor rebuild. The engine that was destroyed, along with what we call the rat poop Jeep, or you guys have seen the rat Jeep, all those parts are now at Martin Machine in Wichita, my trusted builder, and he's going through and he's found everything he needs to properly reassemble a good engine. And I know it will be done well because I've had several engine machining jobs done through him. They've never come back. They always work well. We're playing the waiting game with that, and once the good engine arrives, we'll go back together with the Jeep. And now on the 308, we have everything we need except for the injectors. I finally went through Top End Performance and got the proper injectors, their exact length, the exact size, and also the throttle linkage, which is kind of a turnbuckle that connects to the stock throttle cable or adapts to the Borla throttle bodies, individual throttle bodies. Once those things arrive, Danielson has everything laid out, the wiring, the ECM, the fuel lines, fuel pump, everything figured out, map sensor, IAC. He's going to start going to town and putting this stuff all together. Hopefully it won't be long, and the 308 will be done, and Mrs. Wizard can drive it, and she can see that she doesn't like it and give it back to me.
It's a stick shift.
Yeah.
You don't like those.
But it's a Ferrari.
You still don't like stick shifts.
We'll both drive it and make that judgment when the time comes. The Malibu's up there, you guys have asked about it. Nothing has changed since the last video. It's been sitting. It is not forgotten and it's not an abandoned project because I haven't stopped on it. It's just paused. Like I mentioned, when the 308 is done and finally driving and everything's done with it, then that's coming off the lift and that will be the next car in the different phases of projects that are going on here at Omega. The Nova is almost finished as far as the engine. We're doing some final valve adjustments. We're getting the carburetor dialed in. And the customer on that would like the interior redone at Lowen's as well. And Lowen has spent the last 3 weeks tracking down the stock upholstery. Let's take a look inside of that. All right, guys, are you ready to step back to 1974? Here we go. Look at those plaid seats. It's almost reminiscent of Burberry, Mrs. Wizard.
It's reminiscent of something or other.
It's kind of like a checkered or flannel or I don't know what you call it. But Lowen's Upholstery has found the correct fabric. He had the company send a sample. He just brought it today and laid it up against this fabric and it was absolutely identical. The only problem is it's a little over $200 per yard. It's going to be very, very expensive to have these seats redone in their original fabric. But we're getting a final quote together. We'll give it to the customer and they can say, go for it, I want it done right, or they can say, forget it, I'm going to drive with the holes in the seat. So that's where we're at with the Nova. A quick update on the 2014 Nissan Murano Cross Cabriolet. You guys also saw a video recently on this. We got the top working again. There were some sensors that were out of alignment and there was also some wiring issues going on. We got those repaired and now the top goes down, it goes up, it does everything like it's supposed to do. So luckily it wasn't majorly expensive to get it sorted out. From what I understand, there's really no parts for the convertible top on this. You buy the whole top or no top, nothing. You can't buy individual pieces, but luckily we're able to repair them and get them realigned and everything seems to be working so far. On this 1967 Lincoln Continental, you guys have also seen the engine is back together, it's resealed, the freeze plugs are done. We just received that new steering gearbox in. Junior Mint is working on getting the pieces together on that. He'll put the gearbox in, then the engine makes its trip or its journey back into the engine bay. So we're going back together on this and hope to have it done soon as well. So as you can see, it's been crazy at the shop. We've had so many things going on, and just as soon as we can get projects done, there's more coming in, and we're very excited for that. If you're curious what kind of tools we use to work on any of these cars you just saw, which we did use them on all of them, check my Amazon affiliates link in the description below. We get a small cut and I really appreciate it. And make sure to hit the subscribe button because me and Mrs. Wizard have plans to soon go down to the lake and de-winterize the yacht. You guys don't want to miss out on more yacht videos. Click the subscribe button, guys. Thanks for watching.